the day she drove her SUV into my fresh concrete. It was a damp April morning in Colorado, the kind of day that makes you question your life choices. I'd been up since dawn, nursing a thermos of black coffee and checking the tarps over my freshly poured driveway. That 12-foot stretch of reinforced concrete was my masterpiece. No subcontractors, no shortcuts, just me, my tools, and a long day of sweat. But then, a sickening crunch shattered the quiet. I stepped outside, and there it was, a gleaming silver Cadillac Escalade, nose deep in my wet concrete, with deep gouges tearing through my work like a knife through butter. Standing beside it, arms crossed and defiant, was Deborah Whitaker, president of the Pineview Estates HOA. She didn't just ruin my driveway, she demanded my truck as compensation. That was her first mistake. What followed was a war of wills, forged documents, and a battle for my land that she'd never forget. The rain had softened the ground overnight, but my concrete was still curing under heavy tarps. I'd posted no trespassing signs and chained the side gate, making it clear this was private property, not part of Pineview's jurisdiction. My land predated their gated community by 2 decades, a fact Deborah conveniently ignored. When I approached, she didn't flinch. "You should have marked this better," she snapped, her auburn bob barely mussed by the drizzle. "My Escalade's damaged because of your negligence." "Your Escalade's in my driveway," I shot back. "You cut my lock." The evidence was right there. A clean-snipped padlock in the grass, bolt cutters glinting nearby. Deborah shrugged. "It was rusted. I assumed the path was public." "Public?" The signs were crystal clear. She'd driven through anyway, claiming the main gate was flooded. I pointed to the ruined concrete. $500 worth of work, destroyed. "You're paying for this," I said. She laughed, a sharp, entitled bark. "File a claim with your insurance. And I'll need your truck to cover my repairs." My Ford F-250, my workhorse, for her screw-up? I was stunned. 2 hours later, a tow truck hauled her SUV out, leaving tire ruts and cracked rebar in its wake. Deborah paced, umbrella in hand, barking into her phone. "He's liable, Tom. File the claim today," she said, loud enough for me to hear. I didn't react. I was too busy calculating the cost of jackhammering the mess she'd made. As the tow truck left, she sauntered over. "Your business is responsible," she said. "No hazard notice, no barriers." I pointed to the cut chain. "You broke in." She waved me off. It was an emergency. The canyon road was flooded. Emergency or not, she'd trespassed, and I wasn't letting it slide. That night, an email from Pineview's legal firm landed in my inbox. They claimed I'd failed to warn of unsafe construction, causing $18,000 in damage to Deborah's SUV. They suggested that my insurance pay or I surrender an asset in kind, my truck. Attached were photos of her car, conveniently cropped to hide the bolt cutters and signs. I didn't reply. Instead, I pulled the footage from my 4 security cameras. Every angle showed Deborah's arrival at 8:40 a.m., snipping the lock, tossing it aside, and driving straight into my concrete. I burned the clips to a flash drive, labeled stills with timestamps, and called my lawyer, Sarah Bennett. Sarah was a bulldog in a blazer, with a knack for shredding nonsense. By noon, we were in her office. She watched the footage, smirking. Trespass, property damage, and a baseless demand letter. This is a slam dunk. She drafted a cease and desist, demanding Pineview drop their claim, and prepped a counterclaim for damages, harassment, and unlawful entry. "She's not just a bad neighbor," Sarah said. "She's weaponizing the HOA." I nodded. Deborah wasn't playing small, she was rewriting reality. Things escalated fast. A neighbor, Mike, tipped me off about a Pineview forum post. Deborah had shared a photo of her towed Escalade, captioned, "This is what happens when selfish landowners block emergency routes." Comments were split. Some bought her story, others questioned why she was on my land. Then, midweek, I spotted cars lining the road. Folding chairs, a speaker system, and a banner screaming, "Safety, Access, Community," appeared. Deborah, in a tailored blazer, took a microphone. "This man's concrete endangers us all," she declared, waving a fake plat map claiming my driveway was a public easement. The crowd, mostly Pineview retirees, cheered. I filmed it all, fuming. The next morning, an SUV blocked my truck, angled just onto my property. A Pineview note under my wiper read, "Unauthorized vehicle in disputed zone." Disputed? I called the sheriff. Deputy Rogers arrived, took one look, and sighed. "This is harassment." He warned me to document everything. That afternoon, I added 2 more cameras and caught a drone buzzing my yard. Sarah confirmed it was Pine View's, likely Deborah's attempt to prove I was blocking a non-existent emergency lane. She filed for an emergency restraining order. Deborah didn't stop. She submitted a forged petition to the county, requesting that my driveway be reclassified as a public route. My signature was on it faked. I sent the packet to Sarah, who called it felony territory. Then, a Pineview resident, Ed, called. Deborah told the HOA you agreed to shared access, he said. She's planning to clear your side path Monday. I wasn't waiting. I lined 1,000-pound concrete barriers along my property line, spray-painted private, and posted my deed map. Monday morning, Deborah arrived with a crew. I held up Sarah's injunction. No action until a judge rules, I said. The crew packed up, leaving Deborah seething. On Wednesday, I caught a tow truck hooking my Ford. Deborah stood by, smirking. You're obstructing a community route, she said. I recorded everything. Deputy Rogers arrived, unhooked my truck, and warned her, one more false claim, and you're arrested. That afternoon, another drone appeared. I chased it with mine, tracing it to Deborah's yard. Sarah added it to the restraining order motion. Sunday, Deborah went to clear a full Pineview rally on my fence line, complete with a banner and forged documents. She waived an old work order from a 2021 job, claiming it proved I'd consented to access. That's a lie, I shouted, recording. It's a repair contract, not an easement. The crowd wavered. Sheriff's units rolled in, citing the injunction. The rally collapsed. Monday's hearing was brutal for Deborah. The judge reviewed the forged map, drone footage, and my work order. Clear evidence of fraud and trespass, she ruled, issuing a no-contact order and referring Deborah for criminal prosecution. Pineview's board was dissolved, and residents voted to disband the HOA. Deborah's Escalade was seized for unpaid restitution. I bought it at auction, parked it on cinder blocks by my driveway, and added a sign, private property. Trespassers prosecuted. The fallout was swift. Local news ran a segment. HOA president faces fraud charges. Residents exposed Deborah's past scams rerouting easements, fining neighbors for fake violations. She vanished, her house dark, a legal notice on her door. My land was mine again, my truck untouched, my concrete pristine. What do you think? Have you faced bullies like Deborah, or seen injustice in your community? Share your thoughts below. Should we fight back against abuse, or is there a better way? Let's hear your stand.